So, this is the moment you have all been waiting for. And I'm just going to be completely honest and completely truthful about what has happened. So I'm going to absolutely tell the truth. Don't get me wrong, there probably will be some things that I probably just will miss or I won't say because that's personal to me, right? And I don't need to go into that much detail. But I'm going to go into as much detail as possible so that you can get a true, authentic understanding of what it's like to take part in an ayahuasca ceremony. So I'm going to start from the complete beginning, and this is going to be an absolute truthful account of what actually happened. So I'm going to go from the start. So we arrived at our hotel and we met our shaman that was arranged to be the leader of the session and to guide us. They call him a healer, and that's the name for him, but we also know them as shamans, right? Which are the people who host the sessions and the ones who are trained in the ceremonial experience so they can have a group of people in one area, right, in the middle of the jungle. And this is the person who gives out the ayahuasca to all of the participants in the group. And so essentially he's trained by an indigenous community. He's indigenous by blood. And yeah, so we met him. He spoke to us and, he said a few things. He said, get rid of all of your expectations of what this is going to be like. And to be honest, at first I was like, well, I feel like I kind of know what's going to happen because I've done DMT before, and isn't it the same compound? And I'm thinking these type of thoughts in my head, but obviously I'm not saying it to him because I don't want to sound like a prick. I don't want to argue with him either. I'm just thinking in my head, oh, well, I think I might know what this is going to be like, And I've done large doses of mushrooms, like I've done 10 grams dry of mushrooms, for example. So I felt like, I kind of know what I'm getting myself into. I kind of thought, I know. But then I was also open to keep an open mind too. Like I was open to just go with it and let it take me and see what happens. So yeah, that's probably the best thing to do if you ever end up doing it. That's the best thing to do. Just let it take you and don't fight it. The only true way you're going to truly understand what it's like is by doing it, right? And that's why I'm making this video, right? Because some of you may hear this and think, that's something I want to do, and you'll go and do it, right? Some of you might hear it and think, why the fuck did you do that? That's not something I ever feel like I ever want to do, right? So yeah, basically we met the shaman, he spoke to us, he sat us down, he said, this is a medicine, and yeah, blah, de, blah, de, blah, do you have any questions? We're like, no. He was like, right, so this is where we are going to contact the spirit world, and you might encounter entities, you might encounter all sorts of things, right? All sorts of things might come up, he said. Emotional release, purging, which we'll get into in a little bit, etc., etc., right? He said, we'll go to my place in the jungle and we're going to do it there, right? And bearing in mind, we knew this guy has had plenty of experience. There's a video of him on YouTube that I'd researched his name just beforehand because my dad actually booked us in for us all. But I researched his name beforehand. He's been doing this for like 25 years. So he knows he's been doing this stuff for 25 years, right? So it's a long time, right? And he says he takes ayahuasca 2 to 3 times a week, right? So he's a legend. He's an absolute fucking legend, right? Anyway, so the next day he says, right, so I'll see you. We clear everything up, any kind of questions we had, we cleared it all up. He said, right, so I'll see you tomorrow at 6:30, right? So we bring water, and that's really all you need, water, right? So we brought water, he took us, you know, into the jungle, and he took us down this dirt track, you know, and it was probably about 10 kilometers long. You know, it's probably about 10 kilometers long, at least, just straight into the jungle. It's probably like, we were debating, we were like, this is crazy, this is just one road, and in Jersey, you know, it's longer than the avenue, right? It's longer than the avenue, just straight into the jungle. It's just hard to comprehend. It's like one road straight into the jungle is longer than the avenue. It's probably from like St. Aubyn's to not even St. Aubyn's, further than that. Like St. Brelard's Bay to Havre de Par into the jungle, I reckon. So it's quite a long way into the jungle, just down one road. So yeah, he takes us to this place. We get there, and it's, you know, it's a shack in the middle of the jungle, and he shows us the DMT plants, like, you know, the vine and the leaf. He says, this is the plant, this is where we grow it. This is the Chagropanga, and this is the vine here. And he says, as you can see, it's very snake-like, and that's why you might see snakes, because this plant is representative of the snake. And so yeah, we've got this shack in the middle of the jungle, right? And then you have this smaller shack next to the bigger shack, right? The shack is where we all take it. He had laid out, you know, like mattresses on the floor for all four of us, because it was me, my brother, and my dad, and one other dude, right, from Ireland, Irish dude, who's doing it with us, right? And, you know, we were chatting in the car, just getting to know each other, familiarizing each other, and, you know, just getting to know each other, so we're all comfortable with, you know, the people in the circle before we go and do this, right? So yeah, there's a big shack where we all took it, and obviously he's got his shaman area at the back, and then we were all just on mattresses on the floor, right? And then you had a little shack outside, which is the toilet, okay? And all the toilet is basically a box, cut out wooden box with a hole in it, right? And a bucket underneath with a toilet seat on top. So you're shitting in a bucket, right? And I'll get more into that in a minute, right? But yeah, so we're getting to know each other, everyone's cool with each other, you know, we're getting along, blah, blah, blah. And he starts to take us through, you know, what to expect. Now, I can't really remember, but, you know, it's the general, let it take you, anything can happen, you know. This is a medicine, you are here to purge and to heal yourself, and the ayahuasca is gonna take control of you, and it's going to straighten things up. He said sometimes things in your life might be slightly bent, you know, or you know, maybe, like, he was saying basically things in your body might not be straight, like things can be misaligned, energies can be misaligned, etc., etc. And the ayahuasca is gonna take control of you, and it's gonna shape it and make it all aligned. All of the energy is going to be aligned, right? In order for the ayahuasca to do that, you need to let it take control of you. You need to let it possess you, right? Which I'm all happy with, right? So yeah, we're in the jungle, and yeah, so this is my first experience, right? And all of our first, the guy we were with, he'd done it once before, but only once, and it was a small dose. Essentially, it wasn't that interesting. He said it was interesting, sure, but he said, like, he'd never done 3 ceremonies, which is what we were all booked in to do. He'd only just done it once, and it wasn't really official. He did it with people who weren't really respecting the medicine as such, right? So when it was just like, he met a group of people away, and he said, they were like, oh yeah, we're gonna do it. And he was like, screw it, I'll do it too. But they just didn't do it. They didn't do it the right people. But this guy's proper qualified. You know, he's not got a certificate and all of that bollocks that you get in the Western world. But this guy's he's lived and breathed this shit for years, right? So, and he's been trained by an indigenous community. So he's the dom's bollocks, right? So essentially, yeah, you know, he starts burning, before the ceremony starts, he's got about 40 real tobacco, like not even cigarettes. I'm talking about paper wrapped tobacco, just paper wrapped tobacco, right? Real tobacco leaves, proper tobacco leaves. He just sparks one up and just starts chafing it like, and the whole room gets hotboxed with tobacco, right? So if that's not sickly enough, right? That's just the beginning, right? Which I don't mind. You know, I used to smoke, and I used to do that all the time in my room. But this was strong tobacco, so even though you weren't even smoking it, you were dizzy, right? Just sitting there, right? So anyway, he blows the tobacco at everyone. He goes around with basically, I asked him, what is this stuff that you spit at us? Because he does that. He goes around, he drinks the stuff, and he goes, and then walks to the next person, drinks the stuff, and goes, and then the next person, and then the next person, right? It's all four of us. And later on, I asked him, what is this stuff? And he says it's basically a mixture of plant medicine and a fragrance that the ayahuasca told him to put into it for good luck, right? So he does that, and then you see these bottles on his desk, right? And these are the most fucking potent looking bottles you could ever see in your life, right? You just think, what the fuck is that? It's like this big black liquid, right? Thick, juicy, not even juicy, it's thick and gloopy liquid, right? And anyway, yeah, so this stuff is called chacruna, right? Sorry, chakrapanga, right? That's what it is, not chacruna. Chacruna is the other version. This is a version which is more potent. It contains 5-MeO-DMT, as I said in the last snap. 5-MeO-DMT, NN-DMT, NMT, and bufotenine, right? All of these compounds plus more, but they're the main tryptamines that are well known, that most people know. But it's got other compounds in it that, you know, affect you as well psychoactively. So, yeah, spits this stuff at us, and then he might sing a song. There's stuff called Icaros, right? This is music, right? And these people, like, they get leaves and they shake it around like, the leaf makes that noise, right? Continuously. And then he starts singing, like, all sorts of stuff. He's singing, and he's saying, like, he's calling on the medicine, he's calling on the snakes, he's calling on the anaconda, he's calling on the puma, he's calling on the condor, he's calling on the animals of the rainforest and the medicine to come on, medicine, you know, work your magic. That's what all this music is about, right? It's bringing and enticing the medicine to take control, right? So it's really intense. And when he does this music, it all gets really intense, right? Like after you've taken the ayahuasca, because he's doing it all night long. Like, this guy is basically facilitating a night, right? A full night. He's singing and playing this music and singing these songs, these Icaros songs, these indigenous songs, and you know, it's intense. It's super intense, and he's chafing tobacco and he's blowing it at you, and you're feeling it, and it's fucking sick. But yeah, essentially he spits at us. You know, you have to sit there and take it. You get spat at. Brilliant, right? I didn't care. You know, I didn't care. So yeah, I was ready. And after he spat the good luck at us, he calls us up one by one, pours out the medicina, and he pours it into a double shot glass, right? So you're talking about 60 mil, right? It's about 60 mil. Sorry, it's 28, okay, it's 2 ounces, right? So there's 2 ounces in the shot glass, right? So it's a shot glass which is 2 ounces, right? Which is about 57.5 mil, right? Per dose of chakrapanga, or chakrapanga, that's what it is. And that's the dosage we took, right? So you hear people talking about drinking liters of the stuff, but that's a different version. That's chacruna, which is less potent and you need more, right? So with this stuff, yeah, he calls up Darren, which is the other guy, then my brother, then my dad, and then I was the last one. And we all go around and we all drink this one dose, 2 ounces of chagrapanga, ayahuasca. And, I'm sat there and, I'm just going with it. It's quite mellow, and about 15 minutes after everyone takes their stuff, Darren, the guy who did it with us, the Irish dude, he stands up. We're all laying down in our beds, by the way, just like relaxing, eyes closed, trying to find out what's going on, figure out what's going on. A lot of to be honest with you, my intentions were kind of just to, figure out the next steps forward, right? That's initially that was my intention. What are my next steps into the future, right? Because you take this stuff as a medicine because you're looking for answers, right? This is a medicine. This is not something you take and you go and get fucked up and you just think, yeah, fuck you, yeah, go do ayahuasca and get fucked up. Because it will show you that the plant is to be respected and to be taken seriously, and it is a teacher. So if you go and do ayahuasca and go and treat the plant like that, just look how the plant will treat you, all right? And you won't have a good time. So, essentially, I wanted to figure out the next steps forward initially, right, for the first trip. So anyway, I wanted to let go of any negative energy and to embrace positive energy, right? So anyway, 20 minutes in, Darren stands up. There's buckets there because there's something called purging. And purging is basically getting rid of negative energies, realigning yourself, right? And purging any negative spirits that have attached onto you, negative emotions, past trauma built up in your DNA. So even trauma from your parents that could be put onto you, so your genetic trauma and things that your ancestors have done, that have impacted you, right? So purging is about getting rid of all the ancestral bullshit, right, that was projected onto you through your DNA, and all your shit from your DNA, essentially, that was passed on to you. The ayahuasca sorts all of that out and aligns it all, right? So some of you are like, oh yeah, but I just want to hear visuals. What are the visuals like? Well, this is the thing, mate. It's not like that. It's completely unique. It's a great experience and it's a medicine, right? And this is what he kept on saying to us. He said, get rid of your expectations, because a lot of and after I told you guys yesterday, I said to him, when he asked me, what did you think of, how was your experience yesterday then? I said, it's nothing like anything I've ever done and anything that anyone has ever said that it was like. He was like, yeah, well, that's the thing. Everyone's full of shit online, he said, and it's the truth. So yeah, essentially, purging. Purging is, getting rid of all the negative shit, right? So purging comes in all forms: vomit, diarrhea, sweating, crying, even ejaculation, which I didn't experience. But any kind of way your body sheds and gets rid of fluid or energy is purging, right? So yeah, basically, in the first 20 minutes of taking our first dose, Darren stands up, goes outside, and we're waiting a bit. We're just like, why is he outside? I was just thinking, why is he outside? Suddenly, like, fuck, and again, and then again, just like that, right? And then just dry heaving, being sick, vomiting, in the first 20 minutes, and he comes back in, it's all silent, we're respecting the environment. We're not really, we're letting everyone go on their own journeys here. It's proper, like, controlled environment, right? So anyway, he comes back in, He doesn't say anything, obviously. We just, as I said, we're on our own journeys, right? But he really couldn't stomach it. Now, I don't know whether that's because his stomach acid is weak, because he was a vegetarian, but no, I wasn't sick, my brother wasn't sick, and my dad wasn't sick, but he was a vegetarian and he was the only one who got sick, right? But yeah, anyway, ayahuasca, this type of ayahuasca, it's like, how much can you take without being sick? That's it, because, yeah, I'll just explain the going up process. So you go up there, it gives you the shot glass, you drink it. Now it tastes like port. If you've ever had port before, it's an alcoholic drink, right? Port, that's what it tastes like. Kind of rum-like or whiskey-like in a way as well. So it's really interesting. It's slightly fermented because of the way they make it, right? It's like leaves and it's a root. It's a vine from a tree. Kilos of the stuff, like 10 plus kilos of each. And then they boil it in about 50 liters of water. Water evaporates and you're left with sludge at the bottom. And that's the ayahuasca, right? And the leaves contain the DMT. The vine contains the monoamine enzymes or inhibitors, which basically, if you just had the leaves by itself, you wouldn't get an effect, or you'd have to drink liters and liters and liters of the stuff to get an effect, and overwhelm your enzymes so to the point that they can't function, and then you would feel the effect. But realistically, when you take the leaves by themselves, you need the vine to basically inhibit your enzymes in the stomach so that you can actually break down the DMT, otherwise your enzymes will just destroy it. So that's why you need the vine. But yeah, he was sick. We were all kind of going on our own journeys, and it was all quite mellow the first time, really. It's like a initiation process where the medicine it's entering your body, it's getting in, and it's kind of, there's plenty of mosquitoes here, I'm getting bitten, that's why I'm itching. But it's getting used to your body, it's entering your body. And so yeah, that's really what it's about. And the first session, it was really quite mellow. For me, what did I experience? Nothing too much. It was really quite mellow, right? The first time was really mellow, just light visuals, light head feeling, stuff like that. And so, like I said, the second time you take it, so the same thing happens again. We're all kind of like, right, that was kind of a bit, because we all had expectations for it, right? We were expecting like, oh, it'd be really intense. So if you ever do it, make sure you do 3 sessions. Don't just do 1, because you need 3 at least. And to be fair, shamans do recommend you do 3. But yeah, so after you do it once, the second time you do it is more intense. So you don't build a tolerance to DMT, to ayahuasca. Every time you take it, your tolerance decreases. So you don't need as much the next time to get the same effect, like with cannabis or any other substance, really. With this, if you take it once, you need less to get the same effect, and if you take it again, it's even more potent type thing. So yeah, same thing happens. 6:30, picks us up, drive into the forest, get to the same place, lay down. He does and the whole time through the night, he's playing songs, and he's playing the guitar, and he's playing the harmonica, and he's blowing tobacco, and he's burning sage, and he's doing all of these different things, right? Spitting at us, etc. Cleansing the room of bad energy and spirits. And then we discuss our trips, blah, blah, blah at the end. And then, so it's the next day now, right? So this time he goes, right, at the end of the first session, he goes, right, in the morning, he's like, right guys, how did you go? We explained it all. He says, right, so I think tomorrow we're ready to go deeper. So next day, like I said, it's the day after. We do it the day after, right? Again, because you don't build a tolerance, you can do it the day after. So yeah, again, same ritual things. Spit, 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 spit at all of us. Good luck. Pours the drinks out, down the hatch. This time it's harder to swallow, right? And this stuff is probably make a lot of people vomit just from the taste, right? To be honest, I thought it was fine, but I'm used to herbal medicine anyway. It's just like a herbal tincture, really. But it's like an alcoholic herbal tincture. But yeah, it's just so he goes around and spits at us. And again, my intention, it took me the first time. It took me on a journey. I didn't take it on a journey. Usually with psychedelics, you set an intention and then you go down that path. With ayahuasca, it kind of goes, no. If it wants you to go down that path, sure, but it takes control and it will take you where you need to go, right? So I was debating whether even setting an intention for this next one, because it kind of took me where it wanted me to go that first time. And don't get me wrong, I got some light visuals, some mild effects, but that was mainly it. Quite basic, right? Second time. Oh yeah, and then he asked us in the first session, he said, would you like some more medicine? But he said to us, if you're already feeling it, just say no, there's no need. But then after that first one, when I thought I could have gone further in, right, even on the first one. So I was waiting for the second time, which is what I'm going to explain now. Because this time I knew, I'm going to take more. Because I've experienced the first time, I'm going to go for more this time. So we start. We're down the hatch on the second dose. Again, Darren's there. And it's not very pleasant, trust me, when you're on DMT and you're about to enter a trip and all you can hear is someone just spewing up, right? It kind of spins you, shakes you up a little bit, right? And then as soon as he starts spewing, then you got Carlos on the guitar, and he's singing Mother Earth and all this stuff in Spanish, right? And he's like calling on the medicina, like all this sort of stuff, like, and it's really quite intense, like I say. But this time, it was really quite mellow until I took the second dose, right? Until he came around, he goes, Darren, would you like some more medicine? And he goes, no, I'm all right. He's like, nah, mate. And he's having an extreme experience, right? Charlton, and he goes to my brother, Charlton, would you like some more medicina? And Charlton goes up for more. My dad, he's like, goes up for more. Me, go up for more. Right, but this is where it gets intense, right? So, I go up for more medicine, and I swear to God, right, this was potent. I was thinking the further we're getting down this bottle, right, the more potent it's getting as well, because you're going down the bottle, it's more watery at the top, and it's more thick at the bottom, isn't it? It makes sense. So we're getting down this Coke bottle, basically, but it's called Inca Cola. It's not Coca-Cola, it's Inca Cola. It's made out of the corn here. It's basically a Coke bottle, but we're going down it because he's pouring it out, and we're getting to the thick, juicy part, right? So, I go up, take some more medicina, and I sit down for 10 minutes. All right? 10 minutes, this is it. 15 minutes, and I'm like, I'm feeling my stomach's going, my stomach's rumbling, right? I'm like, what the fuck's going on, right? Lie on my side, right? Because I'm feeling super relaxed, like I just want to chill the hell out, right? I just want to fucking go somewhere, right? And anyway, so I lie on my side, because on my back, my neck's getting a bit stiff laying on my back like that. So I decided to lie on my side for a bit because it's more comfy. And then because my head's kind of off this mattress and it's facing down, and I'm kind of like that off the side of the bed, and my head's down and my stomach's up, I feel the liquid in my stomach, right, just go blah, 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 and it's coming up, right, it's coming up to my neck, right, I'm there. And at the same time, I'm having visuals of this thick snake, like swirling in my vision as I'm not sleeping, but I've got my eyes closed, right, and it's going like this, right, it's like, and this snake is almost enticing me to be sick, right. It's like, it's not just moving like a normal snake, it's basically saying, be sick, be sick, be sick, like that, right? And I'm just lying on the side like, hang on a second, I don't actually need to be sick, and let me just lie up. I bet you it's because I'm lying down. So I sit up, I'm dizzy, and I'm dizzy, and I'm dizzy, and I'm like, now the sickness starts to go away, but my stomach's still rumbling. And I sit back against the wall, sitting up, and I'm just like, just breathing through it. And then suddenly my vision just starts to shake, right? when I've got my eyes open, it starts to shake and it gets super violent, right? And it gets super violent, right? And so I close my eyes, right? Because I'm like, oh shit, well, I'm going somewhere now. And I'm closing my eyes, And at this point, I meet an entity, right? And don't get me wrong, before this part, I had some spiraling vortex patterns and stuff like that, and some animals, and I didn't speak to animals, but you know, they came in and they said hello and they fucked off, and I thought about some people, and you know, I was thinking about things, and I already, you know what, it's quite interesting actually. I was speaking to someone the day before, and it was about a decision, and they're like, oh yeah, I'll let you know tomorrow, and it was the night, and tomorrow was tomorrow. Right, and I was thinking, I already know the answer to that decision. It's a no. But anyway, I was in this zone, right, where everything got super violent, and I met this entity. So it's almost like I was getting insights at the same time, right, into my next steps going forward and all the sort of stuff that I was actually looking for. I met this entity, and it was the entity of ayahuasca, but it was the entity of the chagrapanga, right? It was the entity of the chagrapanga, which is the leaf. And as this was all super violent in my vision, he grabbed me, right? He grabbed me like he grabbed me, not with his hand, but with his energy, right? Grabbed me and he like looked at me and he said like, is this really who you are? Is this truly who you are? Right? And I looked at him and I said, yeah, this is who I am. You know, I just had to say, yeah, this is who I am, right? And then he looks at the other entity he was with at the time, which, you know, might be the vine entity, and I think it was the snake, right? So the vine is the snake, and then this was the leaf, right? And he looked at the vine, which was helping him, you know, with this experience. Because you need the leaf needs the vine, and so yeah, he looked at the vine or the snake in this, because the vine's like a snake. He looked at the snake and he goes, all right. Like he kind of relaxed a bit and he went, right, so this is who he is. He is who he says he is. You know, this is who he is. And they all kind of calmed down a bit, and because they're kind of just, you know, trying to get to know me really when I look back at it. But at the time I was quite confused, but now I look back at it, they're just trying to understand me, and they were trying to understand who I was, and you know, basically that's it. And the shaman on the day said, look, it's about forming a relationship with the plant. This is a medicine, he said, and you need to just form a relationship with it, right? Don't rush it, be you and form a relationship with the plant and with the medicine. So this, now looking back at it, that's what it was. I was forming a relationship with the medicine. And they relaxed and they were like, well, guess what, Sonny? You are wonderful and you are beautiful. That's what they said to me. They said, you are wonderful and you are beautiful. That's what they said to me. Right? And I was like, that's so sweet, that's so kind, right? And, you know, they said, well, considering this is who you are, and like, you know, you are who you say you are, why are you here? What, you know, he said, you know exactly where you're going, you know what you're doing, right? He said, you know who you are, so why are you here? And poof, it said, that's it for tonight. You don't need to learn anything else tonight, right? It said, you're finished. And as soon as that happened, everything started to calm down, right? And I'm kind of back to normal again. But listen, during that whole time, I have to explain it all once, one thing at a time. I sweated, right? Because, you know, it grabbed me, grabbed my energy. It just went poof, right? And I sweat dripped down off my, like out of nowhere, just sweat through every single cell of my body, just sweated out, right? And I was drenched, I was freezing cold, right? Because it got so hot so quickly, and then I was sweating, so I got cold instantly, right? Because now I'm wet. So it was crazy, right? And yeah, it said, right, that's all you need for tonight. You know what you're doing, man. Basically, it's like you took that shit and you fucking held your fucking ground. You know what I mean? It literally said like, well, fair play to you, because you stood your place, you stood your ground, like, you know what I mean? Fair play. That's what it was telling me. And I was like, well, I just like, all right then. So, this is who I am, you know. And yeah, I can see how I could send people off, you know. I could really send some people off. Like, if some people went through that experience, that I did, man, I really think that I have some problems, or really struggle, you know. So yeah, that was that, and from then on, it was really quite mild. I definitely have missed something, because there was something else I was going to say, but you know, this is the thing about a trip report. You can't explain everything, right? But yeah, so that was, let's just say that was my second experience. Yeah, that was it. So I felt like at that point, right, when it was shaking me and stuff, and it grabbed my energy, and it was violently shaking in my vision, and my head was fuzzy, and I was like, what the fuck's happening? Like, you know, I was fucking doing literally physically like, right. At that point, again, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Maybe I'm not supposed to tell you guys. I had it and it's gone again. Yeah, I felt like I was going to be catapulted to outer space. That's how it felt. Because I've done DMT before, and this is the only part that's similar, right? This is the 0.1% similar that I was talking about in the previous video, right? The only part that was similar about all of this is that my other DMT experience when I vaped it was that I got catapulted into, you know, a different realm, right? And that's what this felt like it was going to happen. But it didn't happen, and the ayahuasca went, well, since you know who you are, what's the need? There's nothing to explore. You know where you're going, you know who you are, so that's it. That's you for tonight. Bang! And you're basically, you know, you're tripping a bit, you know, like everything's a bit different. You go outside, the stars look more beautiful. There's a slight twink, like a slight enlightenment type of, not enlightenment, enchantment to everything, you know. You feel like one with the universe, you feel human, you feel like nature. You know, you get that beautiful sensation of we're all just humans, you know what I mean? Like, no one's any better than anyone else at the end of the day. Stripped down, bollock naked, we're all humans, right? So that was my experience, right? That was the second dose. And so the same thing happened again, you know, this was last night, but you wait a day now. You wait a day and then you do it again. So I'm now going to explain my trip that I had last night, right? So, or my experience with the medicine. So, trip number 3. And by the way, Darren, through this whole experience, is puking, right? He's puking all of the time. He's puking, he's walking out and he's puking. He's puking all the time, right? All of the time, right? All of the time. And I didn't puke once. My brother didn't puke once and my dad didn't puke once. But Darren is puking all of the time. And you're hearing, and you're hearing the forest, you're hearing all of the parrots, you're hearing the monkeys, the pigs, all of the nature, man. This forest is wonderful. This jungle is beautiful, right? It's beautiful. It's a wonderful place. And if you're anything like, if you're anything like me, and you like to step out of your comfort zone, you know, and you like to be uncomfortable, right? And you like to do new things and experience stuff. That's the main thing. Then go for it, man. And if you want to learn about yourself, do ayahuasca, right? 100%. And if you feel like, you know, you've got built up trauma from the past, or if you want to let go of stuff and you just want to purge it all out, ayahuasca is the way to do it. I sweated, right? That was my way of purging that time. The sweat, man, I'm telling you, it was crazy. But this, alright, so listen, this is last night. So yeah, we're talking and, you know, same thing. But the conversation's flowing this time because we're all really getting to know each other, right? So there's less silence before it all starts and it's more just flowy conversation. We're talking about the Western world, we're talking about the medicine of the Western world, the bullshit and how it's all bullshit and it does fuck all, and we're talking about COVID and how that was bullshit and how the vaccines were bullshit and the corruption and, you know, all the bullshit, right? And we're all kind of we're all there. Well, mainly me, my dad and my brother and the shaman. The other guy probably, you know, he probably liked his vaccines a little bit and fucking thought that Western medicine is kind of good. But me, my dad and my brother, you know, we're like, fuck the Western medicine, all of it, fuck it all up. I said, look, medicine to me is plants, right? Nothing synthetic or made by big pharma is medicine. That's what I said to him, and I said, look, and he agreed, you know, he agreed. But yeah, right. So, third trip. So this is last night. So yeah, so again, it went quite quickly because we were all chatting, and by this point it was 9:30. I remember checking the clock. Now I hadn't checked the clock once. These whole trips, with these trips, I hadn't checked the clock because he didn't really want. He said, no, don't use your phone. You can only use it for a torch. So yeah, that's what I had been doing. I wasn't looking at the time though. Because this is all done in darkness. You know, you're in the middle of the rainforest. You know, a puma or a jaguar could come out of the rainforest and fucking, if he decided to kill us, we haven't even got any knives or nothing. We'd be fucking dead, mate. So yeah, and look, there's Brazilian wandering spiders. You know, they hang around in the fucking banana trees that are fucking, and they're the most poisonous spider in the world. There's banana trees all around us. There's nature. You're at the mercy of Mother Nature. You know what I mean? And it's you have to surrender. It's in that type of environment. You can't be all egotistical because you're nothing. You know what I mean? You're nothing, right? Just humble yourself and let it take you. Let the medicine take control, right? And yeah, so third trip. As I said, I'm going to miss things as well because I've already thought of something that I've missed, and that's just basically like my second trip. You can feel the medicine taking your body, right? It was almost like it was working symbiotically with my body, right? You could feel it, right? Just absorb into your body, and almost like twice this happened, right? Where I knew that the ayahuasca had taken control because I took a breath I didn't even feel like taking, right? It just went like that, and I didn't even do that. I feel like it was the ayahuasca, but anyway, it took control, like absolute control of takes control of your body, right? It took control of my body completely, and it showed me, you know, it said, this is ayahuasca, and it showed me a masculine energy and a feminine energy, and I was trying to figure out, right, is this plant a masculine plant or a feminine plant? But when, and is this entity that I've met a masculine or a feminine? And it was a mixture of both. And I knew it was the chakrapanga plant because it's actually a multi-sex plant, like it can reproduce and it has eggs. It does it all by itself, right, in biology. So it's actually a masculine and a feminine energy. And that's what led me to believe, this is the chakrapanga plant and this is the vine as well, and that's representing, the snake is representing the vine, and the chakrapanga is the masculine and feminine energy, right? So yeah, yeah, that's that for sure, 100%. So yeah, anyway, moving on to the third trip. This was last night. So last night, calls us up, Darren, Charlton, my dad, me, right? Spit, northeast, southwest, spit as well, right? Sitting there, 2 hours go by, 10, 11, nothing, mildness, you know, like nothing crazy, mildness, right? And he goes, so if anybody would like some more medicine, come up to me, like that, all right? And I just go, actually, I'd actually purged before this, so I took my first dose. I didn't feel anything crazy, but what I did feel was, hey, the ayahuasca said to me, hey, Sonny, if you purge, you are going to feel the effects more. And I got a feeling in my stomach at the same time. And it was like, oh shit, I need a shit, right? I don't know if I need a shit, but I think I need a shit. So I was like, okay, so it's telling me if I purge, I'm going to feel the effects more, and I kind of think I need a shit. So I'm going to try and go for a shit. So, go for a shit, right? But this is not shit. It may as well have been a piss, because I was just pissing out of my arsehole. That's the truth. And like I said, I'm not going to lie to you people. I'm not going to lie to you people. I pissed out of my arsehole. It was pure water, right? And this isn't going to be appetizing. If you don't like what I'm saying, just click off, because this is legit, right? This video is the truth, right? This was pure water, right? Anyway, I got back, and as I got back, he goes, if anybody would like some more medicine, come up and see me. And yeah, Charlton goes up, my brother, I go up, and actually Darren goes up too, bravely enough, because he was already spewing his guts up. He was being sick everywhere already by this point. And he looked in an absolute state, and he still went up for seconds. So yeah, go up for seconds last night, and 2 hours, when, like I say, it's about 2 hours, and then we go up for seconds. You peak around 3 hours anyway, so if you take seconds at this point, you're for sure going to be peaking soon. Peaking, I mean the peak of experience, you know? The heightened part of the experience. So I go up, take the ayahuasca, and we all do. And I tell you what, from about, like I said, it's 11 o'clock, 11:30 now, 9:30, 11:30, 10:30, 11:30, yeah, it's about 11:30, take the second dose. By 12 o'clock, and I'd already taken, I've purged once, gone to the loop, pure diarrhea, like I say, water. By 12 o'clock, I go to the toilet again. I don't get out of the toilet until 12:30. I'm in that toilet, right, for half an hour, okay? I go to the toilet, I actually stand up, clean myself up, stand up, and my stomach rumbles again. I'm back on the toilet immediately, right? More water, okay? Pure water. I come back in the room, the guy's smoking tobacco, and you know what tobacco does? It relaxes your gut. So I walk into the ceremonial room, I smell the tobacco, I walk straight back out again, back to the toilet. Pure water. Okay? That's the third or fourth time now. Alright, I'm not sure. Fourth time, right? So, clean up myself again. You know, stand up again. Bang, sit back down again, back on the loop. Fifth time in the toilet, pure water. Purging, right? Pure, never seen anything like it. Never had diarrhea like it ever in my life, right? Ever in my life never have I ever experienced this, right? It's mental. The guy's like looking at me like, wow, this guy's on a fucking journey. The shaman's looking at me like, this guy's on a journey. He just come back in and he's straight back out again, right? So anyway, I'm done, right? I'll just walk around outside for a bit because I'm like, right, listen, just let me have a break, right? Let me have a break, right? Because I've taken about 5 shits, right? And by this point, it's like, I didn't even know I had it in me. I didn't know there was that much stuff in me, mate. It was crazy. I had to walk around outside, you know, man. And as the trip told me, the more you purge, the more it's gonna hit you. You know, and I'm standing up trying to wipe my ass, right? Because fucking hell, I'm telling you, it's a fucking experience and a half, right? Fuck me. And I'm fucking wobbling, right? I'm wobbling, and it was messy. I have to say, it was fucking messy. I mean, you're in the jungle, right? And you're like in the dark with that half-lit torch, trying to do all this stuff, and it's messy, right? And there's shit, you know, other people's shit that haven't been cleaned. You turn on your torch, you look around. There's actually shit everywhere. You're like, oh fucking hell! I didn't even know that. Oh mate, that's what I mean. It's crazy. So anyway. Yeah, it's proper serious shit, right? So I walk around, I'm walking around at this point, I'm like, and it's hit me, I'm dizzy, I'm wobbling a bit, you know, because I've purged so much, and then, like, the medicine told me the more you purge, the more it's going to hit you. So I'm walking around, the stars look incredible. I mean, there was a full moon last night, and the moon looked wonderful, right? And you know, things are moving around and stuff like this, like dancing, and the trees are breathing, coming out of me like this, right? And I'm just there, I'm like, just give me a break, like. And then I go in, lay down again, I'm relaxing, right? Close my eyes, get some cool visuals, right? More like indigenous type style visuals, like the energy that flows through all of us is alive as well. And that's what it was showing me, these types of patterns that show that the energy is actually alive, and that it's always moving, and it's always flowing through everything, right? And it's alive, and it's living and breathing, and everything is living and breathing. Everything, all the energy is alive, and it flows through everything. And yeah, so interesting visuals, actually, really interesting visuals. These are more traditional DMT visuals now, but not. Again, you still really can't. I have to say, you still can't compare the type of visuals you see when you type DMT visuals. Is similar, but it's still really not the same. People will try and recreate what they saw, you know, after the fact, but it's not the same. You have to truly do it. The only way to see a true reflection of what it is like is by doing it. So yeah, I felt super great, you know, I felt really fantastic. Like, you know, I was thinking about the future, and I was thinking about what I'm currently doing, and I was thinking about, you know, everything, and I was thinking I feel great, you know. You know, a couple of things it spoke to me, and I was speaking to it, and I asked for kind of direction for my next steps forward. And you know, I spoke to the ayahuasca, and I was speaking to it, and I said, yeah, I just posed a few questions to it. I was like, suppose, what should I do in this case, right? And they said, well, do this, and do this, and do this, and do this. Really simply. And it's amazing to think, you know, I wasn't sure what to do with this certain thing that I'm talking about, this certain thing that I had in my head. My next steps for it, right? And it just told me, bro, just do this, and do this, and do this. I was like, perfect, that sounds great, seriously. And then it actually said to me, contact this person and ask how they're doing. Because it said, they might not be in a great place at the moment. So I was like, all right. Oh yeah, all right. And then I said, sit down with this person and have a serious conversation with them. And tell him this. And I said, all right. And yeah, it was great. It was the easiest piece of insight and knowledge I could have ever got. It's crazy how you can take this plant medicine and it will give you the answers. It was fantastic. You know, I had some wonderful visuals. You know, there was a lot of snake energy last night. Yeah, beautiful anaconda was there last night in my vision, and it was wonderful. It was really realistic too. Like, I could really see it. And it was going around, and it was actually guiding the ceremony. At one point, Darren was really having a tough time, and he was really being sick all over the place, and he was purging a lot of emotional, like, traumatic stuff, right? And I could see the snake was guiding him last night, and I could see the snake guiding him last night, and I could see the snake moving around the room and guiding us all last night, which is the vine of ayahuasca. And I saw and I interacted with a few indigenous entities and spirits, and as I said, lots of animals. I interacted with lots of animals, indigenous entities, and yeah, as I said, I was looking into the future, and I was having some vision for the future of my life, and it was great. Honestly, it was great. And to be honest with you, I haven't mentioned this yet because it just hasn't popped in, but it's popped in now. To be honest with you, the second time I did it and the third time I did it got quite sexual, like not with anybody else in the room, but as in, like, my thoughts became really quite sexual. Like, personally, yeah, it got quite sexual, and so I was having these sexual thoughts, which was, you know, it's quite nice, you know, like, obviously, right? But I was like, well, do I really want to be having these sexual thoughts right now? Out of everything I could think of, does it really need to go sexual? So honestly, I was like, not really, you know. It's great having it's great to have a great pair of tits in your face, but, you know, do I need to? Does this need to be happening right now? Is there probably something more important that I could be thinking about, right? So I was like, yeah, it probably is, to be fair. But, you know, I thought about a few people, and a few great people, really, that, you know, I've had experiences with in the past, like in my life, and I thought about a few people that, you know, just caused trouble for no reason as well. So I didn't really think about. I didn't think about the negative ones. I only thought about the positive ones. And yeah, it was a great night, and they were great nights, and I really had a great time, and it was a really pleasant experience. The third time was really, really pleasant. I'd say the second experience was with meeting the entity and him grabbing me and saying, "Is this who you are?" Like, you know, almost threatening and in an aggressive way. I said, "Well, yeah." That was probably quite. It wasn't. See, this is the difference between ayahuasca and other psychedelics. To me, LSD and shrooms are really quite playful. Ayahuasca is more serious, you know. And the second trip was serious like that. It was really serious. And then the third trip was really playful. Oh, not playful, but pleasant, right? And yeah, you could say more. It wasn't really playful, but it was pleasant, and it was really calming and wonderful, really, you know. Even though the entity then did tell me, you know, after it was being a bit aggressive with me, it said, well, serious with me and teaching me, because that's the angle that it approaches you at. It's a teacher angle. It teaches you. It did say you're beautiful and wonderful after, you know. So it's loving and it's teaching as well. So the third time, like I say, it was more pleasant, and it was really bliss and wonderful visuals and wonderful thoughts, and I just let go of all the negative energy, and I felt great after purging. And yeah, like I say, after I went for that walk and had those visuals and all that sort of stuff, I went to the toilet again and purged more. Right, I went through a whole roll of toilet paper at night. I mean, that's how much I was purging. Right, I probably went to the toilet six or seven times, guys. Yeah, 6, 7. Yeah, I probably went to the toilet 6 or 7 times. But yeah. Went through a whole roll of toilet paper to the point where I actually used it all. And the guy after me, Charlton, because after I'd finished in the toilet, the guy, Darren, went after me, and then my brother went after Darren. But there was no toilet roll. So Charlton looked in where you put the toilet roll, because it's obviously you don't put it in a bucket, you put it in the bag. The guy was using leaves to wipe his ass with at this point, because I had used the toilet roll. But yeah, no, it was a fucking brilliant experience, and I wish everyone who is a bit out there, you know, not afraid to jump out the comfort zone. Even the people, you know, the people who are in the comfort zone, I urge you to do this, simply because you'll be a completely different person by the end of it, and it will teach you loads. And just to keep an open mind and don't have any expectations towards some medicine, and let it take you, and forget everything you see online about ayahuasca, because it's something else. It's not something you can pinpoint. And think you know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. I didn't know what was going to happen. It's a wonderful experience, and treat the plant with respect, and it will respect you. Treat it with disrespect, it will disrespect you and show you who's boss, because you're dealing with Mother Nature, and it's a serious force and it's a serious power. But yeah, by the end of this whole experience, I thought that I built a really positive relationship, and I feel like I've built a really positive relationship with this plant and this medicine, and I look forward to doing it again in the future. So if you have any questions, feel free to DM me. It's been an hour, so I knew it would take this long. It's not something you rush. It's a serious ceremony. It's a brilliant ceremony. And yeah, if you have any questions, send me a message. Have a great day.